Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. There's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. So the most important news in editorial of the day that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination of civil services will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 13th of October. The first important news that is Center Clear Bill to amend the multi-state cooperative law. We'll see the detail and look into the aspect of it. Second is that Tamil Nadu notified India's first Slender Loris sanctuary. This is going to be relevant for the prelims examination. Third, launch of Hindi version for the MBBS book. Fourth, decline in the wildlife population. A survey was done which has forecasted about the total decline of the wildlife population. And the last is an editorial. We need a forest like COP27. So these are some of the list of the articles and news for the day. Apart from the discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before that, if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press the like button. So starting the session with the first news, that is Center Clear a bill to amend the multi-state cooperative laws. This particular news is relevant for General Studies Paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So recently the Union Cabinet has approved a multi-state cooperative amendment bill 2022, and the main aim of this bill is to improve the ease of doing businesses and to increase the financial discipline and also to enable the raising of fund in the multi-state cooperative society. So ये काफ़ी ज़रूरी है आपके जानना कि that the cooperative was something that was not performing, right? तो उसी concern में government ने सारी चीज़ों को improve की है. They have totally revamped the functioning, which include the ease of doing business, necessarily financial discipline, enabling and raising the fund part. Now the bill is expected to introduce during the winter session of the parliament. आने वाली जो winter session है उसमें से टेबल की जाएगी. Once this bill is passed by both house of the parliament and after the president assent, this will be finally becoming an act. Now India has nearly 9 lakh such as cooperative, and in most of this comparatively अगर बात करें पूरे world में, this is the highest among the other countries, and nearly 20% of the country gross domestic produce is there, right? So this is in terms of the total contribution that is made by the state cooperative societies. Now, if you look into the background, अगर background की बात करें, after the formation of the new ministry, that is the Ministry of Cooperation in July 21, there's an extensive consultation which was made by the Government of India with the stakeholders, and it was decided to amend the existing act to become the part of the 19B of the Indian Constitution, right? Which aims to strengthen the cooperative movements in our country and bringing the provisions related to the electoral reform. This is the first and foremost. Second is strengthening the governance and transparency. Third is reforming the compositions. Fourth is meeting and the membership of the board, enabling and raising the fund of the cooperative sectors. And second last, that is monitoring the mechanism. And last, enhancing the ease of doing business. So if you're writing this particularly in the mains examination, make sure you highlight all this relevant point, which is going to be important, right? You can take a note of this as well. Now, what is the aim of this bill? So the bill aims to seeks to amend the Multi-State Cooperative Society Act 2002 that aims to improve the governance, electoral reform process, basically strengthening the monetary mechanism, improving the compositions of the board, and also to enhance the transparency, accountability in the multi-state cooperative society. So even you can do it in a pointer format. I'll just repeat it for you. पहली चीज है improve governance. दूसरी reform electoral process. Third is to strengthen the monitoring mechanism. Fourth, improve करना composition of board का. उसके बाद transparency बढ़ानी है. Accountability को ensure करना है सारे multi cooperative societies में. So this is the main aim that the government has come up with the amendment bill. Now the bill was taken into order to make the governance more multi-state cooperative societies, to make it more democratic, transparent and accountable, right? So this is the main rationale behind this bill, which will ensure more democratizations, transparency as well as accountability. Now, amendment has also been proposed to enhance the ease of doing business, which is again the core idea behind the rationale and behind the amendment that was proposed by the government. And the bill also register for the provisions that call applicant to seek an additional time for 2 months for rectifications of all the mistakes. So definitely a consultation will be there before any bill that is being passed. तो consultation एक prior government के end से की जाती है जो भी stakeholders हैं. There's a white paper that is also being released before a bill is being tabled. So the due process will take place. The amendment will provide for electronic submissions of insurance document and thus accompanying the comprehensive digital ecosystem for the multi-state cooperative societies, right? The bill will incorporate the provisions of 79 constitutional amendment. So this is again important and relevant for the prelims examination. Now, what is 79th constitutional amendment? We'll see that. The Constitutional 79th Amendment Act make the provisions for the cooperative society in India. This is specifically related to the cooperative societies. And the amendment provide the legal status and protections to the cooperative society. And it makes an effort to address all the issues for the development of effective management and techniques. Now, in July 20, the government, basically talking about the Supreme Court, they have come up with a verdict where it has upheld the validity of 97 constitutional amendment by striking down a part that was inserted related to the constitution and working of the cooperative society. तो अगर आपने इस questions या फिर if you're addressing 97 constitutional amendment, make sure you highlight the judgment of the Supreme Court where it has categorically in its verdict point 1 has provided some remarks in that, right? तो आप इस सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जो जजमेंट है उससे भी जरूर हाईलाइट करें. Now the new authority establishment is a provision that is there. So the provision related to the cooperative election authority, cooperative information and officers, cooperative ombudsman are the part of the proposed bill, right? So these establishment will be there. This is something important for the examination also because these three establishment will be completely new which will be forming to enhance the level of functioning. The election authority will assume that the election are held which is free, fair in a timely manner and in turn that will reduce the incidence of the complaint and malpractices. Now talking about the cooperative ombudsman that will provide for a mechanism for the redressal member grievances that is in a structured fashion. There's a provisions for the cooperative information officer. This will enhance the transparency by providing members the timely access to the information. See what government is trying to improve. They're trying to promote transparency. Transparency के साथ साथ जो पूरी overall functioning है उसे भी improve करने की कोशिश की जा रही है. Further, the new proposed rehabilitation, reconstruction, development will help in revitalizing the multi-state cooperative society. So this is the complete comprehensive kind of a reform that the government has come up with. Now, representation for the women, SC and ST, because these are the marginalized section of the society, so their representation is essentially required to promote the equality and facilitating the inclusiveness. Provisions related to the representation of women and people belonging from scheduled caste and scheduled tribe will be the member of the board for the multi-state cooperative society that will be included, providing they are provided with the options of inclusivity. Now there's a Multi-State Cooperative Society Act 2002. The Multi-State Cooperative Society was enacted with view to facilitate the democratic functioning and autonomous working for the cooperative society in line with the establishment of cooperative principle. And there's a felt need to amend the act to bring in line with the 97th Constitutional Amendment Act and further to strengthen the cooperative movement in the multi-state cooperative society sector. So this is precisely all about the details that were required for the Multi-State Cooperative Society Act 2002. Now moving to the other news, that is Tamil Nadu notifies India's first Slender Loris sanctuaries, something important for General Studies Paper 2 under the topic Conservation, Environmental Pollutions, Degradations and Environmental Impact Assessment. So recently the Tamil Nadu government has notified India's first Slender Loris sanctuary, and this sanctuary covers an area of 11,806 hectare in Karur, which is in Karur and Dingudul district in Tamil Nadu. So these two districts where this will be notified. Now about the Slender Loris, you can see the image of this particular mammal which is there. So Slender Loris, which is a small nocturnal mammal, are arboreal as they spend most of their time in tree or leaves. So these are the two images to give you a better understanding about this mammal. And the species act as a biological predator of the pest in agriculture crops, and it benefits the farmer also, right? So it prefers to inhabit the thick, thorny bushes and bamboo clumps where it can evade for the predators and even find insect as a main diet. So इसकी main diet की बात करें, insect is a main diet. This is where it resides. It's a nocturnal animal, and this type of points is relevant very much for the prelims examination. So many a times UPSC has asked this question on the animals. So make sure you have good points and even you are completely aware of the fact that this is the complete details about the mammal. Now protection status की अगर बात करें, IUCN status में this is endangered. Wildlife Protection Act 1972 में Schedule 1 के अंदर रखी गई है इसे. और sites की अगर बात करें, this is under Appendix 2, right? So this is again factually important points that you can take a note of. Now native locations के मुकाबले, the Slender Loris are native to India and Sri Lanka, and their genuses are comprises of two species: the red Slender Loris, which is found in Sri Lanka specifically, and the grey Slender Loris, which is found both India and Sri Lanka. So specifically India की अगर बात करें, we are mostly fond of getting this grey Slenders, right? And they have a lifespan of approximately 15 years, and they generally feed on insect, reptiles, plant shoots, and fruits. Survival threats is again a big issue, and even the environmentalist has raised concern about the survival threat. It is believed that this animal have a medicinal properties and they capture and sold for this reason. And there's a great demand for keeping this animal as a pet, and they are illegally smuggled. Habitat loss, electrocutions of live wires, road accidents, and other threats are the cause of the population that is dwindling, right? So these are some of the survival threats. Moving to the other news, that is the launch of Hindi version of MBBS books. This is important for General Studies Paper 2 under the topic Issues related to the government, issues related to development and management of educations and human resources. So the Union Home Minister will launch the Madhya Pradesh government ambitious project to impart medical education in Hindi. The government of Madhya Pradesh has decided that they will be imparting the medical education in Hindi language as well. So the Union Home Minister is going to inaugurate the entire function, and this will be an example to prove that the specialized subjects can be there taught in Hindi as well. बात करें, apart from the languages, apart from all the other sections like secondary, senior secondary, अब medical जैसे educations को भी हिंदी में पढ़ाई जाएगी. Now, as per the notification which was there by the Madhya Pradesh government, they've said that apart from the medical education, they are also coming up with engineering, nursing, paramedical courses that will be taught in Hindi in their states in days to come. So these are the future plan for the Madhya Pradesh Education Department. Now, what is the volume of the books? Basically talking about the medical education, there are volumes of the book that will be released. The first volume of the books include the physiology, biochemistry, anatomy, and issues that is ready with the student in the first year of the MBBS degree. The books are also prepared by the committee of 97 doctors and the team of experts to guide the real time and the quality material. The second volume of the books is being prepared. The book has been prepared in such a manner that the technical terms such as blood pressures, spine, heart, kidney, liver, and other important body parts is written in Hindi, but they will be pronounced in English only. Still, this is for the first time that the state government is incorporating Hindi language in the MBBS degree, so it will take a due time to make students more comfortable studying in Hindi. Now moving to the other news, that is a decline in the wildlife population, something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is the conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation, and EIA. So according to the Living Planet report, the world population of the wild mammal, birds, amphibians, reptiles, fish has declined more than by 2/3 on average, that is 1970. Since 1970, they have taken the calculation and the result is evident. Now, Living Planet report that was released after every 2 years, हर 2 साल में से release की जाती है. Since 1998, the World Wildlife Fund took at 32,000 populations and found that 5,000 species around the globe are facing their population growth and decline. So this is an astonishing number, which is a concern for the environmentalists, and even it should be the concern for the governments. The report is based on the WWF Living Plant Index on the wildlife species. Now, something more about this report. This year, the researchers added 838 new species to the index, and most of them come from Latin America, Africa, and other countries. That is underrepresented in the past. Now, to make this index more valuable, an animal species must has been added to monitor since 1970. तो जितनी भी animals के लिए details ली गई हैं उन्हें 1970 को reference point रख के उसे monitor की गई है and they have taken the exact real time status about that particular organism, right? Now, monitoring populations in the Latin America, Canberra is an average drop of 94% since 1970. Now, during this period, the Africa's decline have seen with an evident percentage that is 66%, with Asia Pacific regional sinking to 55%. Other regions saw lesser decline in the Northern America and monitored with the population that is dropped by 20%. Europe and Central America, Central Asia की अगर बात करें, the details that is there for the 18%. So this is the categorical figure region wise. आप इस तरह के details को note कर सकते हैं. This can be relevant for the other examination also. Now, according to the World Wildlife Fund for the Nature, the finding says that the 83% decline in the abundance of the species that rely on the fresh water is the fact. And this is what that has been reported as per the report. And the population of the sharks and the rays has dropped by 71% over the last half century. And this is 18-fold increase in the fishing pressures from the human. The climate change is likely to become more dominant as a cause of biodiversity loss in the coming decades. So this were some of the assumptions and anticipations that were forecasted by the report. Now, 69% average decline is monitored in the world wildlife population from 1970 to 2018. This is very important. You can take the screenshot of this image. This will help you to revise, right? Now, the other details is 37% of the river over 1,000 kilometers remaining free floating in neither of the natural states, 94% average decline in the Latin America and Caribbean region, 137-kilometer erosion in the Sundarban mangrove in 1985. Sundarban is a location in the West Bengal region. Agriculture is the most prevalent threat to amphibian hunting and trapping, with the most likely threat as the bird mammals. And 55% decline has been seen in the Asia Pacific region. 66% decline is witnessed in African region. So these are some of the data that is going to be relevant specifically for the mains examination. Now moving to the editorial of the day, that we need a forest-led COP 27, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So what are the issues under this editorial? First, talking about the theme of this particular editorial. So the theme of this article is sustainable environment and forest, and I'll be looking into the important aspects to make it easy for you. There are 4 important sub-articles, that is the technological optimizations, forest and biodiversity, gross carbon emissions, and conserving natural sinks. So in September, the study was published in the journal Science that said that the Earth may have already passed the 5 dangerous tipping point to 1.1 degrees Celsius for the global heating that is caused by the humanity to the date. Now, calls for the development and transferring technology to the supply actions on climate change has become a louder worldwide. Technology has become a survival strategy for the species, but the degree of technology determination that exists is the reverse. Now, even if you call for the technology that is unprepared to deal with the challenges and which require a societal overhaul to a zero emission strategy. So in this editorial, precisely we are looking into the aspect that where the zero emission strategy can work, what are the advantages that India could have for this, and what are the mitigation measures that government of India is adopting for this. We have already made our commitment in terms of Paris climate change. अगर Paris climate agreements की बात करें, वहाँ पे भी इंडिया ने कमिटमेंट की है. इवन फॉर द रीसेंट कोप 26, जहाँ पे भी रिसेंट में प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने पंचामृत की बात की थी. इवन वी हैव सेट टारगेट फॉर नेट जीरो एमिशंस बाय 2070. तो ये कुछ ऐसे इंपॉर्टेंट टारगेट्स हैं जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इस तरह के मल्टीलैटरल फोरम्स पे ऑलरेडी प्रॉमिस की हुई. सो वी हैव टू इंश्योर दैट वी आर एक्चुअली मीटिंग दिस प्रॉमिसेस. नाउ टेक्नोलॉजिकल ऑप्टिमाइजेशंस की अगर बात करें, द कोप 26 क्लास को देयर वाज अ emphasis that was put on the technological optimizations, and even the observer for every technological solution that was discussed. And electricity ki baat ki, this is non-emitting electricity that is generated by hydropower, renewable and nuclear fusions, right? Now there's a carbon capture storage, which is again helping, and biomass, right? So these are the 3 important aspects that is a solution for the technological solution when it's come to the technological optimization and environmental friendly resources. The total demand for the resources required for the plants is to be discussed at the COP26 cannot be met by 2050. So we have to make and we have to ensure that every country is putting their endeavor to get this target done. Now, there's currently a requirement of 4 gigawatt of energy per day. This is the electricity per person. And even for the COP26, it requires 32. That has to be there, right? And a range of 16 to 48. We currently have 6 kg of carbon capture storage per year. But the COP26 required 36,000 range, right? At the MIT Technology Review, it was reported that the world will require nearly 400 years to transform into the energy system. So this is the report that has been published. Now the climate required that the same amount of investment in conservation is there in terms of the technological transfer. Country may attempt to achieve the net zero deforestation goal through the monoculture farming as well. So these are some of the other options that is evident. Now talking about the forest and biodiversity, the forest absorbed a net 7.6 billion metric ton of CO2 in a year, and a study that has found that the biophysical aspects of the tendency which cools the earth for additional 0.5%, right? So these are some of the things that is actually helping. The conservation of forest along with the nature-based solutions can provide 37% of the emission reductions that need to tackle the climate change. Now, there's a committee, even the expert was there, Das Gupta Review, Independence Review on the Economics for Biodiversity and Report, that call for the green infrastructure, that is the salt, marshes and mangrove, which is 2 to 5 times cheaper than the grey infrastructure, that is the breakwaters. So this thing can be incorporated not only specifically for India, but for many other developed countries as well. Now, gross carbon emissions की अगर बात करें, another study that is estimated that the annual gross carbon emissions from tropical tree cover could loss between 2015 to 17 was equivalent to 4.8 billion ton. So this is an estimation which was there by the expert committee, and this causes more emission each year than 85% car do in a lifetime. In 2019, approximately 34% of the total net anthropogenic greenhouse emissions come into the energy supply, 24% from industries, 22% from agriculture, forest and land use, and 50% from transportation, and 6% from building. This is very important data. You can take a note of this. This can be relevant for the mains examination also, right? So data wise मैंने bifurcation दी है energy supply, agriculture, land uses, transportations और building में कितनी contributions है anthropogenic greenhouses की. Now, the conserving natural sink is again an important part. The IPCC land report estimate that the land serve as a large CO2 sink. और natural sink की अगर बात करें, these are the forest cover which include trees, vegetations, ocean, soil, and to some extent, soil is also a part of it. There's a growing body of evidence that large proportion of required to removal and achieve the conservation sink, improving biodiversity, protecting and restoring the ecosystem. तो ये कुछ ऐसी ज़रूरतें हैं जिसके थ्रू नेचुरल कार्बन सिंक की जा सकती है. Providing the earth cyclic process and protecting the terrestrial ecosystem is again a natural way. Transforming of agriculture practice under the leadership of indigenous people, local communities so far as equitable, cost effective, and even to weigh out for the climate crisis that is being done now. So these are some of the other possible solutions that we can look forward with. Now moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice. Now consider the following statement with regards to Maitru Setu project. Maitru Setu project symbolizes bilateral relationship and friendly ties between India and Sri Lanka. The project is being implemented by the Land Port Authority of India. So do check it out for the correct options. Now moving to the second question of the day, that is DustLink 2 is between joint exercises between which among the following countries? India, Sri Lanka, India, Japan, Russia, India, Afghanistan, India, and Uzbekistan. So you have to check for the correct option. This type of question might be relevant for the upcoming prelims examination. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.